So often when a business, for example, is feeling really stuck in communication or even financially, we try to make all of these changes and then we don't really know what is driving the results. And so building momentum is small shifts inside your comfort zone. And the idea with that, even if it's a business, is to prepare our mindset that we can do hard things, prepare our people that change is healthy. Readiness is not a state of being, but it's a feeling that comes after you take action. Stop waiting to feel ready because you can't feel ready to do something that you haven't done before. Being stuck, the feeling, is an alert indicating that there is more available to you. If you weren't stuck, you would not realize there's more available to you. Looking at the signal of being stuck is an alert indicating to level up. It's an invitation and it's like a permission slip.
Hi, Cara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Always great to see you.
So glad to see you after a long time this time. So I want to start with your journey. And I know the story, and I would like to share that with the world.
Sure. So how far are we going back, Sunny?
We can go back as far as you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my journey is a little bit unique. I went to university. Okay, so I'll start from high school because this is a pivotal moment. Graduated high school, moved abroad to Mexico to become a professional dancer. It was my dream. So I danced in a hotel, and then I moved to Dominican, danced there. I went to university, finished a degree in business and psychology, moved into venture capital because I was told, like, dance studios, you're not going to make much money. You got to use your brain, use your certifications and your degrees. So I went into a male-dominated industry, primarily focusing on making money and raising funds for entrepreneurs. And through that journey, I learned, like, I actually am an entrepreneur and I need to be owning my own business and doing that. So fast forward, I opened up a dance studio called Soul Connection in Calgary, Alberta. And then I run a syllabus program. And when our paths crossed, it was a moment in my career where I had 3 young children, 2 businesses, and I knew there was something else for me. And so I started with the heroic public speaking and did that certification and wrote a book. And my book is called Big Freaking Change, and it's how to step out and gain confidence before you feel ready. So I kind of see my life as a whole bunch of these core moments that have come together that allows me to really lead people through movement and momentum by understanding the body, the psychology, and also the business sense. And now I speak and really encourage people to take action before they feel ready.
Yeah, no, I love your talk. It's very transformational, moving, and you're a great entrepreneur and an author. So let's go deeper into your book. What is that core message that you're sharing with the world?
Yeah, so my core message is that readiness is not a state of being, but it's a feeling that comes after you take action. And what I really mean by that is stop waiting to feel ready because you can't feel ready to do something that you haven't done before. And I think as society, I'm challenging the status quo because our whole lives we've been programmed to wait to feel ready before we do something. And I believe in preparation, but not the state of readiness. And so just with that mindset shift, sometimes we can, like, put up our hand, ask a brave question, apply for a new job, hit a new market, hire the next team member when we don't feel ready. Because I think that's what holds us back in our mindset, is that we should feel ready before we do something.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. You miss 100%.
Dancing, right? I was like, Sunny boy, we gonna dance. And you were like, I don't know. And I taught you before you felt ready, and now you're like a shining star, right, Sunny?
Yes, 100%. I still do that to this day. Whenever I go to the stage, I use your tool, the best practice that you shared with me, and it just changed my life in a way that I never imagined before talking to you. That simple action that you recommended, I do that before any talk, and it's a game changer. It just takes me to a totally different place.
Oh,
And I am in that service to the audience in a much, much more impactful way. So thank you for that. So grateful for that.
We got to get out of our mindset and into our bodies, right? Like that's really what it's about. So we can deliver this really great energy and show up authentically and not get caught up. And you have that great ability to connect to different people. And when you're grounded and you realize, like, I don't need to feel ready, I just need to do the thing and I'm prepared. And, hopefully you do your step touch, like really nice and little, but it's fun. And it's like, okay, just get into momentum. And that's really the premise of my book is get into momentum. Other pieces will follow after.
So what I heard you say is that just take that next step.
Yes.
And you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
So at least start, right? Take action. Now, if I'm listening to this podcast and I feel stuck, I have a desire to do something, but I am kind of stuck to take the next step. What do I need to do? What do I need to ask myself? What are the tools that you share in the book? What can I do to get unstuck?
Yes. So the first thing I would share is that being stuck is not a problem. And I think most of us, we associate being stuck as a negative. And for the majority of us, we want to get unstuck before we take action. So I believe there's a backwards confidence model. So when we feel stuck in life, for example, we wait to feel ready, we wait to feel confident, and then we take action, but it's in reverse. So you start with action, you develop your confidence, you feel ready, and you get unstuck. And just the psychology of saying being stuck is not a problem gives us a little bit of mental freedom in our mindset of like, oh, and what I like to tell entrepreneurs and high achieving people and people that are stuck in everyday life, like just life, regardless if it's business or aspirational, is that we usually want to get unstuck first, but it's last. And being stuck, the feeling is an alert indicating that there is more available to you. The reason why I say that is if you weren't stuck, you would not realize there's more available to you, whether it's in your personal life, professional life, or organizational life. And so looking at the signal of being stuck is an alert indicating to level up. It's an invitation and it's like a permission slip. And sometimes we can get really critical and not take action because we feel stuck. And so I have a Get Unstuck cycle of change model that I've created that helps people professionally, organizationally, and personally, because I believe we just don't have a model to navigate change. Like change is the one thing that we know we're going to experience every single day for the rest of our lives. And if we don't experience change, we're living kind of a boring life. And I'm going to say very much in our comfort zone. And when we want to step outside of our comfort zone and grow, we have to learn the skill of embracing change. And so the Get Unstuck cycle of change model, Sunny, consists of 8 steps. The first step is acknowledge you're stuck. Nothing is going to change if you don't acknowledge. And you might not use the word I'm stuck. You might say I'm overwhelmed, or I can't focus, or I can't make a decision. These are all languages and words that we use to describe this feeling of like, I can't move and I need to make change. So first step, acknowledge you're stuck. The second step is that you have to identify the exact change that you want to make. And sometimes we want to change so many things at once that we are not laser focused. So we identify the type of change. It could be a physical change, a mental change, an emotional change, a financial change, an organizational change, spirituality, like all these different types. But when in doubt, when we're like, I don't know what type of change it is, I always say go for mindset. Like your mindset is the first tool, the first angle that you can use to approach and navigate change. So we've acknowledged we're stuck, we identify change, and the third step is manage your mindset. This is the hardest job of the entire process because we've been programmed a certain way. We have limiting beliefs, we may have a scarcity mindset, we may have fear. And I always tell everybody, like, I have fear, I have to work on my mindset. I show up with energy, but it's because I've done some of the work and I will continue to do the work. And I think sometimes we have this idea that we have to be perfect before we take action, or everything needs to be in place. And it's often like we have missed opportunities. Yeah. So managing your mindset, I like to say, Sunny, is like a muscle. So it's like we don't get to go to the gym one day and be like, hoo, ha, ha, we got 6-pack abs. Like I wish, right? You got to work out consistently to maintain. And the mindset is the same. You have to work your mindset out daily to have a strong mindset. I could go so deep in that, but high level, it's manage your mindset. The next step is building momentum. And building momentum is making small shifts. And I use the word shifts intentionally that are inside your comfort zone. So often when a business, for example, is feeling really stuck in communication or even financially, we try to make all these changes and then we don't really know what is driving the results. And so building momentum is small shifts inside your comfort zone. And
Right.
the idea with that, even if it's a business, is to prepare our mindset that we can do hard things, prepare our people that change is healthy. And so it's like small incremental steps that builds momentum. And after we build momentum, I call it invest in yourself. And if this is a business, it's invest in your team. And investing in yourself is intention with reflection. And what I mean by that, Sunny, is if you are feeling like I'm going to make a change, you can pick any activity of your choice that's going to kind of fuel you, recharge you, something that's going to give you pleasure. That's not like, I'm just going to work harder. So for me, like I love going for a massage. I'll be like, dig in, get whatever I need out of my body. But when I go down, I ask myself, okay, Cara, what do I need to see in my business? Or what do I need to see in my life that's going to help me solve this problem? Like I speak to my higher self. It's intention with reflection. So I'm reflecting on something and I'm very intentional. And I'm doing an activity of my choice. So I kind of recharge myself like a battery, right? And when we have that fuel, then after we're able to act boldly. And that's the next step, acting boldly. And this is always outside of your comfort zone. And that's what I call my big freaking change. This is when you are like, taking the big leap of faith. And acting boldly is always where we meet fear. So fear comes in and I like to say, hola, bonjour, ¿cómo estás? Like greet it, know that it's coming for you,
Yeah.
acknowledge it, hold space for it.
Yeah.
Don't retract and go backwards. And so many entrepreneurs and high achieving people, when we act boldly and it doesn't go the way we want, we retract. And I say, no, just recognize that that's what's happening. And then the next step is enjoy the journey. And enjoying the journey for entrepreneurs and workers is a hard task. Like we have aspirations in life. We're like, we're going to do this. We hit that. We're like, what's next? Boom, 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 boom. And we fail to kind of let it simmer. We fail to reflect. And I like to reflect on the wins and also learn from opportunities that we can grow. So enjoying the journey is really, really important. And after that final step, we unlock our confidence. And unlocking our confidence is having that trust that we can do hard things before we feel ready, that we believe in our abilities, that we are capable. And after we've unlocked our confidence, we actually will get stuck again. Like we are going to constantly get stuck. But this time we have a framework of navigating change. And that's what I really want to share with your listeners is it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to embrace change. Like you need a model, you need a method, you need a different approach to get the results that you want. And that's where the cycle of change helps.
Yeah, no, definitely. Once that framework, the structure, the system is there, then it makes it easier for you to go about the change.
Exactly.
And then really use that as a support structure to get unstuck. But you said something in another language, and you were like act bold.
Yeah.
So can you say that in English? And I think you use French.
Oh yes. So I say act boldly, and then I said hola, which means hi in Spanish. ¿Cómo estás? How are you doing in Spanish? Bonjour is in French, and that means hello. ¿Cómo se va is how are you doing? But I like to embrace when I act boldly that I am like going to get hit with different approaches, different people, different fears. I'm not going to understand it. So like I kind of make humor of it, like, hola, this is just the fear showing up, right? And if you speak a different language, like put it in your language of like, okay, this is what's happening in this moment when I act boldly. Fear is going to smack you and it's part of the process.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that in Punjabi.
Yes. Tell me how to say it in Punjabi and let me try it too.
Yeah. So hello is ki halat.
Kaila.
So yeah, that's a beautiful way to greet the challenge.
Yes.
Right? And then it's like, yeah, what's up?
¿Cómo estás? Hey, how you doing?
And kihala.
Kihala.
Yeah. Yes. No, thank you for sharing that. Now, can you pick one or two examples from your life journey where this system, this framework helped you? So, what was the challenge where you felt stuck, and how
Yeah.
you use this to really get unstuck?
Yes. Well, I think what's most relevant that I'm going to share is writing my book. I was stuck um, so many times. Like every day I got stuck for like years. And it was interesting because I was in this group of highly astute leaders and business owners and professors from Harvard. Like they're like the next level. And I was intimidated to say the least. Right. And I was definitely stuck. And so writing the book itself, I had to come up with a framework of like, how do we actually do this? And how can it actually serve different scenarios, different types of people, different ages, different challenges in a really systematic way that's going to prove results. And so I started documenting a lot of things of what was happening. And then I tested it when I did a lot of coaching on entrepreneurs. And I started realizing people come to us for different reasons in different seasons of life. We have a problem. And as a coach or a guide, you have to recognize the driving force. And often it's being stuck. Like, I'm stuck, I need help. And so, writing the book, I had to go through this of like identifying the change. Okay, I had to learn the skill of writing. So that was like a technical change that I had to make. I had to manage my mindset to say, I can do this. Like, I, as a child, I had a learning disability in reading and writing, and I carried that label with me even as an adult until I was writing this book. And I'm like, okay, Cara, this label is not going to serve you anymore. You're going to have to say adios. Thanks for coming out, right? Like goodbye, and manage your mindset that you're capable and strong and you can get someone to proofread and do all the things. Building momentum, I had to take small chunks. Like, you can't write a book overnight. It takes a long journey, usually at least 18 months. Lots of people are never going to publish. Like, you have to really understand what it's going to take and like make little tiny steps that are actionable and attainable for me. Investing in myself, I had to like go for walks, process information, say, okay, Cara, this is a journey. You're not going to land it right away. And Sunny, I'm proud that like my book got into Forbes as a #1 book for leaders. Yes, to gain control in their business or life. I like the biggest happy dance, right? And it was like building momentum. And then it made 3 bestsellers lists. And that was like, holy crap, like I did it. And it was acknowledging it to myself, really, of like, okay, if you work hard and you have a system and you are diligent and you apply how you're going to change, it can work. Acting boldly was definitely getting a publisher and like putting it out there and, getting it out into the world and saying like, okay, I'm writing a book and I'm publishing a book, and then enjoying the journey. Like, I cried so many times writing this book. I wanted to give up a million times. My coach, AJ Harper, was like, okay, this is good, but not good enough. You're going to need to redo it. And it would be after hours and hours of me thinking this was a masterpiece and her saying like, it didn't hit the mark. I'm like, ah. And so I think in the journey, I had to really learn like, this is about serving the audience. And who is my audience? They're people that feel lost, stuck, disconnected, unfulfilled. They want to make a change. They don't know how. They're waiting to feel ready. And just like really, really driving that home in my messaging. And I'm more intentional now about all the work I do in business. It's like, how do I really help audiences? How do I coach people to a place where they're going to be able to reach their goals and have internal motivation and intrinsic value? That's powerful, right? And so I think attaching any goal that we have to a higher outcome of service, I'm going to serve other people, it keeps you in momentum of making change. So I had to learn, like, enjoy the journey. It's going to be okay. And then when people would write in and, I've never met them and say something beautiful about how the book moved them or changed their life, it's like, wow, that's pretty profound. And what an honor that is to be able to inspire other people. And then you get stuck all the time. And it's like, okay, you do your launch and then you're like, holy, I just need to breathe. Like, you're still running a household and kids and businesses. And I think what's helped me in my journey of authorship is really to understand it's a journey. It's not a destination. I'm going to be promoting my book. Sunny, I'm not like you that can pump out all these books all the time. Like, you are incredible. I'm more thinking one and done. Like, this is my masterpiece and I want to share it. So I mean, it can apply to business and life, but it's always a cycle. And I think when we understand that there's many steps in this cycle and we're in movement and momentum, it can give us that positive push when we need it.
100%. What I'm hearing you say is that where you are today, when you measure your success backwards, when you started that journey of writing your book, there's so much growth, right? That's what I see, that you being that growth mindset person, where you are today with your growth, but it took a lot of grit to face adversity that you faced, and what I normally say is that you have to go through it. You cannot go above it, you cannot go below it, you have to go through it. So you have done that. But the number one thing is you acknowledged, to start with, the self-awareness that this is where I am and this is where I want to go. And this is important for me. I heard purpose when you were sharing there, that your purpose was higher level purpose. You were showing up to serve people with your learnings and your life experience, and it's really adding value to people. So that purpose kept you going. And that self-awareness is the starting point, that I do want to grow. I do want to serve. I want to make an impact. And then you used your clarity piece, that you were super clear that, hey, this is my comfort zone. I have been in this comfort zone from a couple of years, but I want to get here. So in order for me to get there, I need to put myself out there with a lot of clarity to get there. But I'm willing to pay my dues to get there.
Pay my dues and then some, Sonny. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to pay your, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. And one more thing that I heard is the community, that where you were surrounded with other growth mindset people from Harvard to other places, and that community that you were part of, that gave you that encouragement, that support structure, and really that, hey, I can do more, I can be more. And just, I think that's another piece, that being part of a community is really, really important. And is there anything else? So if people are, especially if someone wants to gain more clarity in terms of their what they really want to do, the purpose, and what skills that they need to develop to serve, is there any other piece in terms of tools, templates that you have in your book, anything where it can help people be more self-aware and have more clarity? Because every progress will start with knowing the reality, which comes from your self-awareness, that acknowledgement, and then being super clear in terms of where you want to go.
Yeah. You know, Sunny, I love this question because I believe everything starts with courage. Okay, so we have to be courageous enough to look inside of us, to go like, where do I need to grow? Where am I still living in limiting beliefs? You have to have courage to face yourself, right? Like that is hard. It is hard to look at your insecurities and your flaws and go, okay, like this is reality. And if I'm going to step out, I need to embrace myself and I need to accept it and I need to be willing to grow. So it starts with courage. And I believe like if you start with courage, you gain clarity through asking yourself really courageous questions, through being intentional, through analyzing your awareness, right? And like, why do you want a certain goal? I often ask my clients, I'm like, okay, so like this goal is really important to you. Tell me about that. And then I say, what is the feeling you want to experience when you achieve this goal? And most people have no idea. And I think that's really powerful to go, okay, why do I want this thing? And what are the feelings underneath it? Because 95% of our decisions are based on feelings. And 95% of our thought habits are repetitive day after day. And it's 5% of our conscious awareness that we really have access to. So we really need to be intentional about what we're going to do and what we're going to say to ourselves and how we're going to grow. And so I think it starts with courage. You develop your clarity through that. And as a byproduct, as a result, you gain confidence. And with that confidence, you then ask yourself more courageous questions. You do more courageous things like, You went to do this incredible hike at Everest. Like, that's crazy, right? But
Yeah.
you don't start just going like, boom. It was like, it was a thought. It was a process. It was like intentional. Okay, for my 50th birthday, I want to do this thing. I want to do it with my son. Like, right? And then you create your own reality, but it always starts with courage.
Yeah. Love it. Everything starts with courage. So good. Because I do see that it took me courage and having that clarity that I want to do this in my lifetime. This is my bucket list item. I do want to go climb Everest. And so having that courage to commit to that goal with clarity, and again, courage to commit to that bigger goal that I can do this. And one thing, so belief that I can, because both ways are right. If you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, then you're right. But that's the belief, right? If believe that I can, and then having that courage to first of all say that I can it takes courage. And then when you have yes with that courage being your capability, then you being able to uh, have that commitment to kind of really grow yourself and surround yourself with the next steps of, you said manage your mindset. That every day it takes that habit, that discipline, because you have to start taking those steps towards your journey, and you will always be bigger than your past.
Oh, I love that. You will always be bigger than your past. That's like a happy dance. You'll always be bigger than your past. Yes, honey, put it up, right? It's so true. And we get so stuck in our past. Like, let's be real, right? I'm a prime example. It's like, oh, well, this or that. And then that's where you have to manage your mindset to go, okay, well, that's true. And this can also be true for me. I think sometimes we have like all or nothing thinking of like, well, it has to be this way. And like everything that we plan doesn't usually go according to plan. Like there's going to be bumps in the road. And I think resiliency is the byproduct of stepping out, doing courageous things, gaining new clarity. And like Sunny, you said, okay, now on my 70th birthday, I'm going to go to space. Like it's next level. Again, you're flexing that courage muscle. You don't start with saying that. Like you're working your way up to it. And I think what's an important moment for everyone to remember for their own lives is when we look at other aspiring, aspirational people, such as yourself, and you've had great levels of success, sometimes we don't really know the path. Like it looks all shiny, but you worked your butt off coming to the USA, driving a taxi, like you've done it. And I think sometimes we don't see all those steps and we think like, oh, must be nice for this person. It's like, no, he worked his tail off and now he has this level of success and he's giving back and he's making impact, that we don't understand all the steps involved. And so I encourage people to always reflect back to your own steps of like, what steps have you taken? What steps are you willing to take? And what steps will you take, right? Like we are always becoming. We are always becoming. We are never arriving. Like, I think if we have that mindset of like, who am I becoming? What are the attributes of that person? How do I serve other people? What do I need to do? What should I do? What do I want to do? And like put it together. There's power and energy in that.
So good, so good. Courage is a capability, and using that courage as a capability to create your bigger future. And that is like by design, where you're not living by default, you're living by design. And courage is probably the most important capability, the most important muscle that we can build. Because if you have courage will help you commit to bigger goals, means the growth. And one more thing that comes to my mind, Cara, is you cannot create a bigger future with the courage until you have courage to reflect and create peace with your past.
Oh, yes.
Because otherwise your past will pull you always to keep you in that comfort zone.
Yes.
And it's not going to let you move forward. Because if you are able to have clarity about your past, because our brain is basically looking for learnings from our past experiences. And then that's how you create peace with your past. And courage to really face your past from the learning and actionables point of view for the future. So that also takes courage as a muscle to pause, take that moment to have that journal or write it down, whatever works for you, to say, okay, what worked in my past? What didn't work in my past? What are the insights and learnings, and what action I can take to create a bigger future? So in order for you to use courage as a muscle and use this change framework to grow, always be growing, always also be intentional to learn from your past, to create peace with your past, create a better past. So create a better past to create bigger future, using your change framework, and that change will help you continuously grow. And I think you can get to places like Everest Base Camp, or the keynote and the author that you are, right? So you probably were thinking a couple of years ago that, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. You had a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, but you faced that with courage and clarity, and using your purpose, your meaning, and why you're on this earth to really commit to something bigger, to serve this world, make an impact. I think that's what kind of helps you go through that adversity, because there will be rainy days, and when the rainy days are there, hard days are there, the only way to continue with that grit and go through that is really having that belief that you are doing something bigger than yourself. And that really carries you, and there's passion in there is purpose in there, and you are using your courage to go to the next level. Anything else? What question or life lesson that you leave our audience with?
Well, Sunny, I always ask people, what are they waiting to do?
What are they waiting to do?
Waiting to do. Okay. The first thing that comes in their mind is there truth right now? Like, oh, I'm waiting to lose 10 pounds. I'm waiting to go on a date. I'm waiting to start a business. I'm waiting to apply for the new job, whatever it is. And if we really get curious with ourselves, if we can acknowledge what's keeping you stuck and being okay with that. So I like the word like surrender and simmer. Like, you got to surrender to what is, like making peace with your past is surrendering, right? Okay, I'm going to make peace. This part didn't work out in my life. I'm going to accept it. Our brains try to create answers and solutions, but I'm going to surrender to, like, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to become better. And I think when we know what we're waiting for, and then we have the courage to ask some empowering and hard questions about our life, and then we step out, we can do tremendous things. And it is of service to more than yourself, right? Like, once you get to a certain level of success, you realize, okay, this is not fulfilling anymore if it's just for me. It's about impact. It's about change. And change to me is the most powerful, beautiful, transformational thing in all aspects of life, because we're designed to evolve, right? And with your podcast about really being intentional with the life you want to design is such a beautiful message. And it's not enough just to hear it. It's got to follow up with action. And so for all the listeners, I would just ask yourself, what are you waiting to do? What's standing in your way? How do you want to feel when you achieve this goal or do that thing? And what are some action steps you can start taking today? That's how we start on our way.
Yeah, that is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, if people want to buy that book, or people want to book your keynote, what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah. So my website is caramoellerpoppitt.com, and Big Freaking Change is bigfreakingchange.com. It's available in all bookstores and on Amazon. And you can just follow me on social, reach out, and I would love to connect with you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we will share some resources with the podcast, where the link to your social, to your website, And thank you so much, Cara. You are such a wonderful human being. Truly appreciate you. You have made huge impact on our community, the Build It community, by coming there as a speaker. And people were moved. People really, really felt it. And you helped so many people get unstuck. And I have experienced it personally as well. I always had that fear of for stage, and just one simple tool that you gave me that kind of made me more courageous and gave me kind of that support that I needed to get on the stage. That was just just kind of have fun just a few minutes before the stage. So thank you, Cara, for coming to my show. Thank you.
Thank you for being a blessing and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your entrepreneurial journey. So inspiring. And I just look forward to watching you on your 70th birthday doing some more crazy stuff. So congratulations to you, Sunny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Sunny's Silver Linings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.